We are live. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Bunker Office Hours, a weekly live show brought to you by the team at Bunker Labs, a national network of veteran and military spouse entrepreneurs dedicated to helping the veteran and military spouse community start their own business. I'm your host, Iron Mike Stedman, joined by my co-host, Amy Morton, and our special guest today, Brittany Hall from Hello Alice. And Brittany, what's going on?
Hi, it's a pleasure to be with you this morning.
It's going to be a great time, man. Hello Alice is an amazing organization. Like I was saying before we went live, my girlfriend is always forwarding me the grant opportunities and the programs that you are offering. So I'm really excited to get this information out to the military connected community. But before we do that, I'm going to pass it to my co-host, Amy Morton, to talk to us about what's been going on in the bunker.
Thanks, Mike. We got quite a few. We've got three opportunities going on this week. So we've got our veterans and residents applications are open currently starting today through the month of March. And that is for the cohort that starts in July. So check out bunkerlabs.org/veterans and residents for that information. And then we also have residents applications are open. Breaking Barriers in Entrepreneurship is our 8-week workshop series, and that is applications are open for that through April 3rd. So that's like early stage startups in the Hispanic, Latinx, Asian women, and Black entrepreneurs in those 4 different cohorts. So that program initiative is open through April 3rd. And then this is a heads up. So March 21st, stay tuned because our next round of applications for the USAA 100-year anniversary pitch competition in DC is opening up. So that's March 21st. And then you can check out the website. You can fill out the interest form ahead of time, but the official apps open March 21st. So lots of opportunities going on.
Yeah. So many opportunities. It makes my head spin.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to keep up with everything that's going on myself. But, you know, the positive thing about this is, look, there's opportunities out there. You don't have to go at it alone, right? This is one of the benefits of the bunker community is that we have access to these programs, whether it's cohort based or like the entrepreneurship workshop series, and then the opportunity to get this seed stage funding. You know, grants are great, great way to keep the dream alive. So I really want to encourage everyone to apply. Before we talk to Brittany, though, I do want to acknowledge that last week, much of the Bunker Labs team was down in Austin for the ambassador fly-in. So we got to hang out with our amazing volunteers and ecosystem builders from all over the country. I had a great time. My spirit is full down there because, it's one thing to really do this work and be able to create this content and, really carry the Bunker Labs flag. But it's another thing to get out in the community and hang out with other people. And it's just something about, and me, you talk about this, Amy, and Brittany, I'm sure you can attest, is like we spend so much time behind these virtual screens now and our little LinkedIn profiles, but to be able to get out in front of people and have real connections, right? Like I feel like that's so important now. What are your thoughts, Brittany?
Absolutely. While it's great that we're able to be connected virtually and to be able to see each other from around the country and across the world, there's absolutely nothing that compares with being able to share space and ideas with folks.
And our ecosystem builders, those Bunker Lab ambassadors, they're like the frontline troops, And so during the last week, what we're able to offer some program to them about best practices and networking and ecosystem building, and even for their own businesses, because when a Bunker Lab ambassador succeeds, right, they set the standard in their community and they draw that energy into the entrepreneurial ecosystem. So shout out to all my ambassadors tuning in. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. None of this would be possible without you. So now, without further ado, let's transition and talk about Hello Alice. So Brittany, please take a moment to introduce yourself to our viewers today and talk to us about what Hello Alice is and how it can benefit their business.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Brittany Hall, and I'm the Senior Director of Impact at Hello Alice. It's helloalice.com, and it's a free online platform that helps small businesses launch and grow. We have over 600,000 small business owners who are active on our platform, where they're able to access something that we call milestones, which are step-by-step actionable guides that help entrepreneurs demystify the process of starting, launching, and growing a business. And so whether it's resources on things like building a digital presence, so websites and social media, or some of the more tactical things like HR or taxes, we've got loads of resources that are specially curated to support small business owners across the entire life cycle of a business. So I would encourage everyone to check those out. In addition, we also offer grant programs to small business owners. And so this year, as part of the Year of Small Business, which is a campaign that we're doing in partnership with Bunker Labs, Gin Global, the United States Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the Small Business Association, and ourselves, Hello Alice, we're going to be deploying over $30 million in grant funding directly to small businesses. So it is a phenomenal opportunity that I would encourage all small business owners, like you were saying, to just go ahead and apply to take advantage of some of this non-dilutive funding that is available within the ecosystem.
So my girlfriend is very active with, like I said, the Hello Alice. She's always forwarding the grants, but I actually never had an opportunity to take some time and spend some time on the platform. And one of the things we're talking about in the preview is that Hello Alice is tech enabled. So users can actually go on, they can create an account, they can get connected with other small business owners and resources. And a lot of the information and the grant opportunities are available directly through the platform. So if you create a profile and apply to one grant application, it can go to multiple applications, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's correct. So we use artificial intelligence to match small business owners with the best possible opportunities. And so when you create a free Hello Alice account, the more information you provide, the better able the platform is to uncover resources that are specific to you. So for example, as a military connected entrepreneur, we would, if you tell us that information, then we're able to match resources, for instance, like those from our partners at Bunker Labs or other military connected organizations, to make sure that what we're showing to you is most relevant to the resources available. Someone who is underway in tech might have a completely different experience on the site than someone who is in a service-based industry or is a person of color versus a member of the LGBTQ community. So yes, as much information as you provide to the platform, it learns what you're interested in and is able to uncover resources that are best placed for you. So again, just trying to recognize and get ahead of the fact that small business owners are so busy. We want to make sure that we're showing you the right information that's actionable and at your fingertips in a way that can be digested and, drive ultimate impact and profitability within the business.
One of the things I'm always thinking about as a small business owner is that there's multiple accelerator programs out there, or incubators. We have our workshop series here at Bunker Labs, and there's all these different, platforms available to small business owners, not even including like your CRM, your project management tool. So there's all this different stuff that we have to balance, have logins to, prioritize, etc. When you think about the programs and resources available to small business owners, what makes Hello Alice unique? And why do you encourage our viewers to really lean into this platform and take advantage of it?
Sure. So like I was saying before, it's almost like you don't know what you don't know when it comes to entrepreneurship. And we've spent a lot of time mapping those core fundamentals of what it takes to launch a business. There's an entire path of resources connected to that. And then how do you grow and ultimately maintain a business? And so I think the curation of the resources is one of the real standouts within our ecosystem. There's also a community aspect. And so Hello Alice community members are able to network with each other. And I see a lot of really great collaboration happening between entrepreneurs, because it can be kind of lonely and you might not have your direct peers within your physical space, but to be able to connect on a digital space is really nice. And then finally, it's all the funding opportunities. So we partner with a lot of enterprise organizations. So whether that's MasterCard or DoorDash or Airbnb or UBS, you name it, all of these big companies that want to support small business partner with Hello Alice in order to be able to infuse grant money directly to small business owners. And so our funding center, which is funding.helloalice.com, is always being refreshed with tons of great grant opportunities, both from our partners as well as from around the web. So you'll be able to find access to non-dilutive funding that is really critical to both launching and then ultimately sustaining a business, particularly during this time.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, Hello Alice raised about $20 million during the pandemic. And one of the things I have to be thinking about is we've got 600,000 users on this platform. So it gave you real insight into the challenges that small business owners were facing, over the course of the pandemic. So obviously, like, it's hard to even imagine that, like, it feels like we just blinked through 2 years, March of 2020 to where we are now. But when you think about how the small business community is looking on the other side of this pandemic, what are some of the challenges that you're seeing from the small business community that you have at Hello Alice, and how are you guys supporting with this year of small business?
Sure. I can speak to a study that we did last quarter, so the last quarter of 2021, and particularly within our business connected community. The troubling news was that the outlook seems to be a bit pessimistic. 54% of our owners that are military connected believed that their business would close out 2021 in a better place than 2022, which is a 23% drop from the previous time that we ran this survey of 38,000 military connected business owners just a quarter earlier. You'll know that Q4 of last year was tough. We had the resurgence of the Omicron variant, and things might have been looking up, and then all of a sudden it got really hard there. So what we're finding within all of our entrepreneurs is that access to capital ranks as their biggest hurdle. But military connected owners reported at even higher levels. Again, last quarter, 46% of our military connected owners cited this as their largest obstacle, which is up 28% on the previous quarter. So access to funding is again, our number one thing. And then other areas of interest for our military connected owners were building a brand, acquiring customers, and hiring a team. But again, it all goes back to funding. Access to capital is traditionally more challenging within the military connected space, whether that's due to a lack of geographic stability or insufficient credit history resulting from deployments or moving around a lot. And so what we're trying to do, whether through grants or ultimately through loans, credit card, or other access to fair capital, is to make sure that you're not unduly prohibited just because of your service to the country. And in fact, that should be an ultimate benefit and is going to make our military connected entrepreneurs the backbone of our economy as well.
And I'm willing to bet that this, year of small business, this 8-week, I think it's an 8-week accelerator program, is really going to help small business owners be prepared for success. So when they do apply to these grant programs, they've crossed their T's and dotted their I's and be put in the best position to succeed.
Sure. Yeah. So the Year of Small Business is a collaborative effort that has a bunch of different elements to it. There's the $30 million in grants that we're going to deploy this year. There's a Small Business Growth Accelerator, which you mentioned. And so that is an opportunity for business owners who are, we've got the self-service resources, but then we also have this accelerator, which is a bit more of a guided path. That we will hope to take 10,000 small business owners through this year. And then we're also doing a corporate education series. And so that's working with our enterprise partners. So again, some of those big names that we mentioned or others that are interested in supporting small business, we sit on so much data. And so we're taking that to advocate for small businesses, both at the enterprise level and as well as at the government level. So we're working really closely with the Small Business Association and the National Chambers of Commerce to make sure that the voice of entrepreneurs of all designations are heard and accounted for as it relates to government policy and ways that we can support at like a systemic level.
You got a shout out, Brittany. Donald John Sr. says, this is phenomenal information. I didn't know that Hello Alice does so much. I cannot wait to share it with my network. So this is why we do this, inviting our partners on these kind of platforms to get this word out, because like you said, you don't know what you don't know. So I've got a couple more questions for you. When you think about the entrepreneurs that you all have touched at Hello Alice, are there any stories that kind of come to mind, success stories, or really people that you say, hey, this is why we do the work we do?
Oh, the first person who comes to mind is Corinne Luna Ostaeski, who is the founder of SIA Scotch Whiskey. Corinne was a Hello Alice member who used our resources as she was developing her Scotch whiskey company. She she was a graphic designer, started blending Scotch after a breakup and got really into Scotch. Ultimately ended up creating a Scotch brand, which she funded on Kickstarter, which is another thing. We've got loads of information on how to fund your business beyond, grants or traditional access to capital. So she crowdfunded her business. It was so successful that it was ultimately acquired by Diageo, which is a conglomerate that oversees brands like, I think, Johnny Walker's another one of the brands within the Diageo family. And as part of her contract with Diageo, as she sold SIA Scotch Whiskey, she said, I'm going to pay it forward. And so we're now working with her to do grant programs for other people of color who are starting new businesses. So we're entering our second round. It's going to launch over the summer. But it's such a phenomenal story to hear of someone who was able to access our resources, build their brand, and then ultimately pay it forward in such a boss way. So it's a real pleasure to be working with her.
That's amazing, man. That's what I love to hear. That's what our viewers love to hear. So it sounds like you guys are doing some amazing work at Hello Alice, accelerating our small business community. Now, as we wrap up, are there any, with regards to Hello Alice, are there any closing remarks or anything you would like to leave our viewers with today?
Sure. I would encourage everyone to check out the Year of Small Business. We're actually offering another grant program as a part of this that will launch on March 14th and go through May 6th. And that is for $5,000 grants. And it's open to anyone, really unrestrictive eligibility criteria. And so again, that will be launching on March 14th through the yearofsmallbusiness.com. I'd also encourage people to check out funding.helloalice.com, which is where we have an aggregation of all of our other grants available as well. So please go check out all of our resources and take advantage of all of these great funding opportunities.
Love it. This is not just on Brittany, y'all. So this is how it works. This is what networking is about. When you come across small business owners that say, hey, I need help with coaching, I need help with funding, it's on us as a community to start pushing this information out about Hello Alice and get people signed up. Like I said, there are people in my network who forward me the emails all the time regarding the grant opportunity. So this is how we activate the network, and this is how we continue to grow our businesses together. So I want to shout out Brittany and thank her for coming on and dropping this amazing information. Now, Brittany, I don't know if we teach you up for this, but I'm put you on the spot. And if you don't have one, it's okay. We always do a book recommendation for office hours. So is there any books that you would recommend for our small business viewers today?
Sure. Something I'm currently reading and I'm really enjoying is called Choose Your Story, Change Your Life, Silence Your Inner Critic and Rewrite Your Life from the Inside Out. It is a very powerful resource. I'm actually drawing a blank on the name of the the author right now, so forgive me. But it is really great. I'm learning to listen to how I speak to myself and reframe conversations to speak to myself as I'm someone I love, because I do. And, how to harness your thoughts is ultimately the way to change your reality.
Yeah. Donald said, drop that book in the chat, please. We need it. I'll tell you, I was trying to work on some writing today, and I had a bunch of negative thoughts in my head. I was like, man, I got to start like flipping the script. And it's hard because, some days you're on, you feel like you can attack the world. And those days when you're off, that's when we need that kind of stuff to talk yourself up. So Choose Your Story, Change Your Life by Kendra Hall. We dropped the link in the chat. So check that out. My book recommendation for today is Rework by Jason Fried. And I forgot the subtitle to the book, but I came across Rework probably about 10 years ago. Not even say 10 years ago, probably around 2012. Actually, it is 10 years ago. I'm telling on myself. That's how old I'm getting, y'all. That feels weird. But Jason Fried is one of the co-founders of 37 Signals, which makes the platform Basecamp, which is like a project management system. And they're bootstrapped. They have their own philosophies about what it takes to run a successful business. They were the people talking about working remote well before the pandemic and getting rid of meetings and really just building a profitable business and doing it in a way that makes sense. And so, as I'm building my own company, I find myself really leaning towards this kind of like minimalist entrepreneur philosophy about, we always see stuff happening at the corporate level that we think needs to apply to our business, which isn't necessarily the case. And so they have their own kind of business philosophies. One of the things that really stood out to me is there's a whole chapter on outteach the competition. So we're always talking about marketing and branding, but some of the best branding and marketing you can do is just sharing what you do, sharing how you think, or, how you approach business. And they give an example of cooks. Cookbook chefs are often, writing recipes, they're writing cookbooks, they're sharing this stuff, they're doing TV shows, and they're not afraid that like somebody's going to copy their recipe. If you want the original, the OG, you got to come to their restaurant and learn it from them. So little stuff like that. And one of the things is like build a business, not a startup. So it's one thing to like raise a bunch of venture capital and get caught up in the hype of raising money. But it's another thing to focus on actually building a profitable business that serves a particular group of customers and really focus on high quality customer service and delivering value. So it's more of a philosophy around what it takes to build a business. So I want to encourage you all to check out Rework, especially for our bootstrapped entrepreneurs. Shout out to all the bootstrapped entrepreneurs out there, that Brittany's kind of talking about. We need this grant funded. We don't have venture capitalists coming in to save the day for us. We eat what we kill. And so I am drawn to literature that kind of speaks to that spirit and that soul. So that's why I really want to recommend Jason Friedman's Rework book. So check that out. Also check out his YouTube videos. Just type in Jason Fried. He's got a lot of great content out there. So as we close out here, I do want to go ahead and acknowledge our sponsors for this show, the MetLife. Not the MetLife. I want to acknowledge MetLife Foundation, our virtual event sponsors, who are committed to supporting veteran and military spouse entrepreneurs through mentorship and financial health resources to help our community transition into the workforce, whether as entrepreneurs or taking advantage of a lot of these job opportunities out there in the ecosystem. I also want to plug my podcast, The Transition. Now, Brittany, people think Office Hours is a podcast because at the Ambassador launch last week, I had so many people coming up to me, man, we see your podcast on LinkedIn. I was like, this is a live show, but maybe in Web 3.0, live shows count as podcasts. But listen, y'all saw the Shark Tank business, Black Sands Entertainment, led by Manuel Godoy, that won $500,000 in funding from Kevin Hart and Mark Cuban on Shark Tank. Manuel and his wife are both Army veterans, and I was able to get Manuel on The Transition to talk about his journey building Black Sands Entertainment, literally bootstrapping it, then launching a crowd fund, and eventually earning a $500,000 investment from Kevin Hart and Mark Cuban. That's on The Transition podcast, y'all. Check that one out. We also got Dan Lee, my man Dan Lee from Farina Pasta and Noodles, an Army EOD tech, got out of the Army, ended up going to, I think it was Drexel University, did the Culinary Institute there, and then started his own ghost kitchen, which eventually led to a restaurant. And so you got to check his episode out too. So got a lot of great content out there. Y'all don't have to go at it alone. Be sure to check out the Transition podcast, like, rate, and review the show for us, and spread it to other entrepreneurs in the Military Connect community. So, Brittany, it was great having you here. To everyone that's tuning in, thanks for spending this time with us. Until next week, peace, love, and have a great rest of your week.